Are you ready to peer into eternity? To journey through the annals of time, into the darkest corners of history, where faith intertwines with blasphemy, and the thirst for power erases the line between light and darkness. Today, we embark on a journey into the heart of one of the most misunderstood and forbidden ceremonies, the Black Massachusetts. This is not merely a tale about a ritual. It is a story about the human soul, seeking the absolute, sometimes choosing the most dangerous paths to attain it. Our first step takes us deep into the centuries. The very concept of the Black Mass emerges in Renaissance Europe, but its roots reach back to pagan cults and early Christian heresies. However, it acquired its classic, horrifying form in 17th century France during the time of the Sun King, Louis XIV. It was then that the famous affair of the poisons erupted, bringing into the light a figure who became a symbol of depravity and Satanism, Catherine Monvoisin, known as La Voisin. This woman, a midwife and poisoner, in her home in the Parisian suburb of Saint-Marceau, organized genuine black masses for the highest aristocracy of the kingdom. Imagine dimly lit cellars, an altar upon which a naked woman is splayed, a renegade priest performing a mass upon her body, using a consecrated host stolen from a church. The ritual was accompanied by blasphemous prayers, animal sacrifices, and according to some testimonies, even infants. The goal? To gain the favor of dark forces to achieve power, love, wealth, or the death of an enemy. It was a conveyor belt of blasphemy, operating for the elite. But history is not limited to the century of Louis. Mysterious rituals resembling the Black Mass appear in the most unexpected places. Aleister Crowley, the self-proclaimed great beast of the 20th century, experimented with similar ceremonies, believing them to be a method of awakening one's own will. And did you know that, according to rumors, Nazi ideologues from the Ahnenerbe Society also conducted occult rituals, attempting to summon dark forces for the victory of the Reich? These facts, even if exaggerated, paint a terrifying picture. Humanity, standing on the brink of technological or social breakthrough, turns again and again to the most ancient, darkest practices. This is where the mysteries are born. Were these rituals really just theater for debauched aristocrats and the insane? Was there something more behind them? Witnesses of that time described inexplicable phenomena, sharp temperature drops, mystical visions, the sudden death of participants. And the main question, what were they trying to summon? A faceless demon from Christian mythology? Or some archaic, pre-Christian force, an energy of solitude and alienation that can only be imagined in the likeness of Pan? An intriguing fact. Many descriptions of the Black Mass coincide in details, as if different people, in different corners of the world, were recreating the same archetypal scenario, written in the collective subconscious. This naturally gives rise to conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theorists are convinced the Black Mass never disappeared. It simply went underground, transforming into a secret ritual of the global elite. Could the seclusion of Vatican gardens, Masonic lodges, or closed clubs for billionaires be modern analogs of those cellars in Saint-Marceau? Is it possible that power, which by its very nature seeks the absolute, instinctively turns to the most absolute, even if demonic, sources? Some see echoes of these rituals in the symbolism of modern pop culture, in music videos and Hollywood ceremonies where, allegedly, Satan is glorified in coded form. These are speculations, but they stir the imagination and force us to ponder. What if the struggle for our souls is taking place not in sermons, but in quieter, yet far more influential chambers? What do all these facts, legends, and theories mean? Analyzing them, we are faced not so much with religion, but with psychology and politics. The Black Mass is, first and foremost, an act of supreme freedom and deepest rebellion. It is the symbolic murder of God to take his place. It is an attempt to transform the sacred into a tool for achieving utterly mundane, often vile, goals. The motives of its participants varied, from pathological boredom and debauchery to cold calculation and an insatiable hunger for power. But what unites them is one thing: the desire to break through the prohibition, to access the forbidden source of power, even if it costs them their soul. So what is the philosophical conclusion of this grim journey? The Black Mass, in whatever form it appears, historical or mythical, is a powerful mirror for humanity. It shows us not only the beast slumbering deep within, but also the tragic striving for transcendence which, finding no healthy outlet, becomes inverted. This topic is important not because we must believe in demons, but because we must understand the abyss that can open when a person, feeling abandoned by God or the world, decides to seek answers in the darkness. At the end of our path, only one question remains, directed at each of us. What are you willing to sacrifice for your most secret dream? And is that sacrifice your own humanity? But can we speak of the Black Mass as a historical phenomenon without addressing its echoes in the modern world? This question leads us further, beyond archives and ancient manuscripts. Today, as traditional religiosity recedes under the pressure of technology and secularism, the archetype of rebellion against the sacred finds new, unexpected forms of expression. A careful look at contemporary culture reveals strange parallels. The aesthetics of transgression, the conscious crossing of forbidden boundaries, has become a mainstream direction in art, fashion, film, and music. Are the ritual scenes in modern horror films, the use of satanic imagery by extreme metal bands, or even the deeply thought-out performances of provocative artists, whether conscious or not, reincarnations of that same ancient attraction to blasphemy? This does not mean that everyone who uses such symbolism is a Satanist, but it does indicate that the force that was once embodied in the physical ritual of the Black Mass has now found an outlet in the cultural field, becoming a tool for social criticism, self-expression, or simply shocking content. Another dimension of this topic lies in the realm of psychology. Carl Gustav Jung spoke of the shadow, the dark, hidden part of our psyche that contains everything we deny in ourselves. Rituals like the Black Mass can be seen as an attempt not just to worship an external demon, but to summon, materialize, and pay homage to one's own internal shadow. It is an attempt to meet one's own absolute evil face to face, either to subdue it or to draw power from it. In this sense, every person struggling with their deepest demons goes through their own mental Black Mass. Thus, the question we are exploring turns out to be much broader than a historical curiosity. It touches on the very foundations of how humanity interacts with the concepts of sanctity and taboo, how it embodies its most secret conflicts and rituals, and what forms this struggle takes in different cultural contexts. From the cellars of the 17th century to the digital spaces of the present, the thread of one and the same human dilemma remains unbroken. So, is the Black Mass merely a page in history? No, it is an eternal mirror of human nature, reflecting our perpetual struggle between light and darkness, between the sacred and the blasphemous. Every era finds new forms for this archetype, but the core dilemma remains. What happens when the human soul, in its quest for power or meaning, consciously chooses to step into the darkness? The answer lies not in ancient texts, but in the uncharted territories of our own potential.